Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Pure Tarot. I'm doing an all signs reading for the strawberry full moon that we have today on June 14th, 2022. The full moon is in the Gemini Sagittarius axis, so the sun is in Gemini, the moon is in Sag. If you have placements in those signs, maybe this might be more significant for you. So, apologies, I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm still doing the reading. I will do a shorter version, so to speak. We're going to go Aries through Pisces, but we're going to do very few cards. We're just going to get the juicy part. We're just going to get to what really matters on this day. So let's see if any cards want to pop out. If not, I'll choose to draw about 2 to 3 cards per sign. Yeah, looks like I'm going to pull. I'm going to cut. All right, let's do this. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I just opened this deck, getting familiar with it. And the High Priestess in reverse. Wow, what an interesting combo. Aries, it feels like molasses. You know, this Wheel of Fortune is reversed, and this Knight of Pentacles is also in reverse. So it couldn't be more sluggish, any slower than this in terms of energy and forward movement. I wouldn't say you're at a total halt. I feel more like it's slow, arduous, and yeah, sluggish was the right word. And the High Priestess here in reverse, she's not enjoying this energy at all either. It's really interesting though. She's speaking up. She is deciding to say something. I guess she wants to change the energy. Any secrets that might have been slowing things down are going to be revealed here at this full moon. It's really interesting. She's really deciding to open up. And it feels important. It feels like a piece of knowledge. It feels like the missing link. I really enjoy that energy as an outcome for these 3 cards, Aries. Also, I'm not going to pull anymore, but I'm suspecting it's going to change this energy and it's going to speed things up for you. It's also, I'm hearing it's going to set things right. So let's move to Taurus. let's get to the juicy parts for Taurus. You guys might not realize, but these strawberries smell really, 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 really good. I'm gonna cut and I'm gonna pull. This is the Eight of Cups in reverse, the Queen of Swords, and the Chariot in reverse. What's with all this movement being slowed down? Even for you, Taurus, you have an energy of staying stuck, not wanting to walk away, not wanting to move forward here with the Chariot as well. I haven't been showing the cards. And there's also, it's very, very similar to Aries. This Queen of Swords is usually, she doesn't mince her words. She doesn't necessarily speak that much, but when she does, she's on point. She does think before she speaks. That's one given for her. Maybe that's what's slowing things down a little bit. But it's the same energy as Aries. Two cards of, you know, not moving forward and slow movement to the point of almost being halted and absolutely to a stop. Yet a female character here with communication at hand. So some form of message as well for you, Taurus. Also being the Queen of Swords, another very spontaneous, no, that's not necessarily true. Because the Queen will have thought about what she wanted to say. What's spontaneous is, it appears to be spontaneous the way it comes through, the message. But there was some thought behind it. That's the subtlety. It's a message of truth as well, being the Queen of Swords. Of this great clarity, really in line with full moon energy. It's really interesting. In your case, Taurus, I'm not sensing necessarily that the communication, I can't really tell if it's gonna change the energy. I'm suspecting it will. I'm kind of choosing to do like with Aries. I'm not gonna pull a fourth card. I think the message here for the full moon is really the fact that you're getting a message of clarity, of truth from a female, feminine figure. You don't need to attach gender. I don't know. There's an energy behind it. I'm trying to grasp what I'm sensing here. Almost, I'm hearing goodwill. I'm not exactly sure why. I guess it's because it's contradicting, you know, the typical interpretation of the Queen of Swords would be that maybe the message would come and obviously swiftly, like I said, spontaneously, being swords, but also maybe a little bit abruptly. And And you would think maybe would be difficult, but it's actually really good-willed. Let's move to Gemini. It's interesting how both Aries and Taurus are so similar. Gemini, there's a card that flipped for you. We have the Page of Cups. Let me show you. These cards are pretty. Let's see if other ones want to jump out. If not, I'll be cutting again and pulling. But just know that this guy came out for you, Gemini. He jumped out. We now have, this is the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the Seven of Swords, but in reverse. What a strange energy for you, Gemini. I say strange because it started off so positively with this Page of Cups. You also, just like Aries and Taurus, are having a message come through. Yours was pointing maybe to something sentimental. It turns out to be here with the Seven of Swords in reverse, with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. It turns out to be not sentimental. It's really interesting. Message nonetheless. Apologies. It's much more geared towards it's funny. It's an energy of being evasive, but yet there's a message coming through. So it's really interesting how it's contradictory. It's almost like wanting to give you a message, but maybe going by indirect means through someone else. Maybe this Queen is the intermediary, like the person who carries the message, but it could be the sender of the message, and maybe this Page is the bringer of the message. But it feels like there's that kind of equation, right? That it's indirect. I say that because of the Seven of Swords in reverse. So it wouldn't necessarily be, it's evasive, but I don't feel it's treacherous. I don't feel it's mischievous or malign. I feel mostly that it's just evasive and done sort of kind of a little bit under disguise, right? What an interesting way of communicating. It could also be this Page of Cups is could be giving you a warning. And I'm going to say, instead of applying necessarily people, right, to the Queen, it's a message coming in about maybe avoiding a financial loss here. Or a missed opportunity in work. Something of the sort. So, all in all, not necessarily great news, but I don't sense it's really bad news. The Seven of Swords is in reverse. If it's a financial loss, it's a minor one. Let's move to Cancer. Please tell us what is juicy for Cancer. What's in store for this beautiful strawberry full moon? Okay. Death in reverse with the 10 of Cups in reverse. And the 4 of Wands. That's really interesting. I can't tell if this card is upright or... It's so perfectly symmetrical. Absolutely perfectly symmetrical. Even on the back, that I can't tell, like there's no reverse. Maybe there is, I just have to discover. I think I found it. The only thing that's not symmetrical is the keys. And they're both, the heads of the keys are both on top, so it's upright. Cancer, this is really interesting. It talks about your home, which you're very attached to. But it also talks about maybe, I don't know, a sense of happiness lost, or happiness you know, when you're happy, but somewhere inside of you, really deep down, you're sensing there's something a little bit shallow about it. And I'm not saying it's absolutely shallow, but there's maybe some depth that is missing. I'm also sensing this with the Death in reverse. You know, usually you'd say, okay, maybe someone or something is not evolving. I do sense this sense, how can I say this? Excuse my English. I'm looking for my words. Yeah, it feels shallow because when death is upright, the transformation is so deep and it's so total. I mean, it's a reset, complete reset. And here it's in reverse. So I'm sensing this happiness is kind of shallow. It has to do with your home. It feels like you're comfortable in your home, but maybe you're not fully, like the energy in your house is not really what it could be. And it doesn't have to be necessarily the people you live with. It could just be physically the place where you live, like the house, the neighborhood, maybe even the town. To that extent, right? Like almost like the earth energy. I know there's no earth, but we do have death, and death is like, you know, you'd be burying the corpse, right? So there's something to do with earth and the place where you dwell and where it's situated, right? What's under your house, maybe even here, death. Maybe it's a place where you've lived for a very long time and it's time to let it go. But you're not letting go. It feels like there's happiness there that you're attached to that you're not letting go of. Anyway, maybe think about that, or just, I guess, meditate on that energy. Let's move to Leo now. What is juicy, excuse me, for Leo? King of Pentacles, that's quite something. 5 of Cups. Let's see if another one turns. If not, I'll be pulling. Let's pull. Three of Cups in reverse. The King has you in a very solid situation, sees you in a solid place, position, I should say, standing, much more like that, almost a honorific title kind of vibe. Whoever this king is, whether it's you or someone else in your life, they have the luxury of choosing what they want to do, even in terms of what earns them money. They're able to do very little work and get a lot of results. And they're almost able to one day do one thing and then almost, I mean, I don't even know if that's really a thing, but it feels like they're able to do a multitude of things, and they could almost switch it up and earn money differently on different days. Basically having more than one stream of revenue, but not having to work at them all parallel, right? Like all at the same time, which is really the nuance here. It's not so much that you have, it's a given. This person is I don't know, they have this ability, right, to make money grow off of trees. But they're also able to spend the time that they want and that they need on specific tasks at different times, and that's probably the beauty of this. I guess the only downside here is it's showing a lot of loneliness. 3 of Cups is in reverse and the 5 of Cups is upright. So a lot of loneliness at the top here, Leo. Almost to the point of feeling sad, but I would say mostly disconnected from your emotions. Maybe all this money talk is really putting you in a place where you separate very, very strongly between business and pleasure, for instance, or even just, you know, any type of relationship, whether any place where emotions would come into play. It really doesn't seem to cross into your business, or when you're in business mode, that kind of thing. Just remember, it leaves you really separate from friends, from family, And I think that even if you do have some downtime, I suspect you might have sometimes a harder time to reconnect because maybe you spend a little too much time in the business world. Let's do Virgo. What is juicy for Virgos? Okay, I will pull. The Nine of Cups. This is the Queen of Wands, but it came out in reverse. And the Magician. What a beautiful energy. Excuse me. Virgo, it's really interesting. You really have a lot of I'm hearing swoosh. It feels like I don't know, like the Nike logo. It feels like wind, like a sudden wind that picks up. It feels like yeah, it feels really I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's an energy of like getting things that you want, getting things that you need, and being the Queen of Wands here being in reverse. It feels like you're on autopilot. So all these things are coming to you like almost like the swoosh is almost like they appear before you, right? This Magician and Nine of Cups, it's like every wish, everything you need, like the abundance is there all the time. And things kind of magically, you know, like even with the sound effect, you know, like they kind of fall on your lap like this. But this Queen is in reverse here, and it feels like she's on autopilot. So she's not even noticing just how much, not necessarily that you're not noticing the abundance, but you're almost taking it for granted, almost like not noticing how amazingly coordinated, you know, by the universe, all these beautiful things are coming to you. I don't think you measure just how marvelous it is. That's what it is. It's the marvelous part of it that you're not seeing. I'm not sure why you're in this energy, Virgo, necessarily. It does feel a little bit like you're self-centered at the moment. But I think you are out of, maybe feeling a little bit out of, like, I'm going to say out of sorts, but I mean, nothing in your environment is putting you out of sorts. It's more an internal energy here, like it solely belongs to you, because outside of you, and what's interesting, usually sometimes excuse me, you know what, we're not feeling so great, you know, sometimes life outside of us feels more difficult. But so there's definitely something working out in your favor. And there's something that you're doing that is working well for you. And yet, there's a part of you that, I don't know, I guess it's your, your Virgos, right? I feel like you're being very self-critical here. And I'm going to say that it's directed towards you because your environment is working out really well here. But it is making you feel a little bit out of, yeah, you're not maybe paying attention and realizing how abundant and marvelous your life is at the moment. Temporary. It's only temporary. But you're harsh on yourself. Let's do Libra. Or too harsh on yourself, I should say. What is juicy for Libras? Let's look at that. Okay. We have the Knights and the Page of Cups that came out. Libra. Okay, let me pull that last card. And we have the Nine of Swords in reverse, which is a good thing. Excuse me. Apologies. Well, it feels like you have quite a few suitors, and if it's not people around you, you're getting invitations, you're getting proposals, offers. Excuse me. I do feel they're friendly. Being cups, I don't think that they're necessarily work-related. So it feels like you've got social events, or at least people wanting to spend time with you, literally. And the funny thing is, I mean, the Nine of Swords is in reverse, so you're not stressed out about it, but you're not very calm about it either. You're a little bit on your toes. It's really interesting. You're not full, you're a little bit guarded. You're a little bit hesitant even in your head about it. Maybe it's simply due to, if there's two offers here, we do have a Page and a Knight. Excuse me. Maybe you have a choice between two. Maybe that's what's making you hesitate. But I can tell you, you won't be stressed for long. These offers look very, I have the word healthy. But I mean emotionally healthy, right? So I would, you know, open my heart, open my arms, and I would trust. I would trust. Let us do Scorpio. What is juicy for Scorpio on this full moon, June 2022? Nine of Swords upright this time. The Six of Pentacles, which is beautiful. the last one. The Hermit. Well, I'm going to tell you, it does feel like this Six of Pentacles here. In this case, feels like inner balance, almost echoing like the Temperance card here, because it is sandwiched between the Nine of Swords and the Hermit. So a situation that would have had you really just feeling like pins and needles, whether you feel them in your body or in your mind. The idea that it's prickly, almost like a mini torture, and it's a little bit self-imposed, of course, being the Nine of Swords. It could be obviously triggered by an outside situation, of course, but a lot of it is almost like self-torture, a little bit punitive, you know what I mean? So there's quite this inner work here with the Hermit, inner work to regain balance, equilibrium, a fair, like, you have a pair of shoes on this card, it's funny, so like to get your footing back. Finding your light, finding your truth. You know, sort of it's really strange. I just saw the image of, you know, those people in the circus, or, you know, the sword swallowers, the one that these, I don't know how they do that, but they literally put a sword down their esophagus, right? It feels like that's what you would have done, metaphorically speaking, of course. And it's quite a feat, actually. So it's a really interesting thing, because it's almost like it's spectacular, yet it's painful, or there's a lot of discomfort in there. It's a really strange image I got. I'm not too sure what it would mean for you. So it's almost like, because you do this dangerous work, quote unquote, there's something to be done about, and the reason I see the sword swallower is because the sword is going deep, deep, deep inside, and I'm thinking about the Hermit, this sort of inner quest, right, to the depths of you, but almost through pain. So it's almost like you do it through having this sword, I don't know, swallowing the sword. It's a really strange message. It's very symbolic, of course. I just want you to know that because the Six of Pentacles is here, you do find balance, you do find your light, you do whatever feels or looks painful from the outside, from watching this you know, person swallow a sword, is not painful to you, is what I'm getting here. I think you eventually gain, of course, out of it, because you find the inner treasure, which is your inner light. Let's move to Sagittarius. What is juicy for Sagittarius? Let's see. Excuse me. Okay, let's pull all 3 cards for you, Sag. The Queen of Cups in reverse. Let me show you. That's her. The Four of Pentacles in reverse. And the Chariot in reverse. Excuse me. Yes, I really didn't want to miss out on the full moon reading, even if I'm a little bit under the weather. So Chariot in reverse, you're also experiencing a stagnation. Aries and Taurus had stagnation cards, not moving forward, or at least not at the speed that they want or wanted. Same applies to you, Sagittarius, which is very difficult, right? You love your freedom of movement. There's something to be said about there's Four of Pentacles in reverse here. It's almost like the obstacle. It feels like an obstacle between the Queen and the Chariot. So it feels like you're having to save your money. I don't think that you have enough money to take a trip. I don't think you have enough money to get where you want to go. I think that's one issue. I also feel that you might be too focused on making money, and it feels like you don't have enough, or not as much as you would want, or you're not generating as much, right? So there's a great deal of energy being spent there. And this Queen of Cups is in reverse here. She's, part of me wants to say that she's not following her deepest intuition when it comes to okay, it feels like you're doing a job or something, right, to generate money that you know is not necessarily for your highest good, or I could say differently, aligned with your higher self, right? So it's like saying to you, you have a job that pays the rent and it's food on the table, but it doesn't necessarily correspond deeply to who you are in your heart. So there's something about the disconnect here and not being in tune, so following your intuition when it comes to mainly what you do for work, but it also comes through as what you do. You know, usually work is like, it takes up, I don't know, a lot of people work, let's say, a good 40 hours a week, right? So it feels here like whatever activity here you're putting your energy into and spending all these hours is what you're not aligned with. And it happens to be also what generates money. Or if it doesn't really generate money, as I was implying before at the onset, it's also another source of dissatisfaction, because on top of not doing something that you really love, it's not really paying you enough, right? So what's the point? I think you feel like at a dead end here. This Chariot is like, you know that you've reached the end of that road. You can't go down any further. That path is closed. It's a dead end. Yeah, maybe the emphasis also on just being, like I said, on a very simplistic line scenario would be not having enough money to go somewhere that you wanted to travel to, and it's making you, it's upsetting you, hence why the Queen is in reverse. Let's do Capricorn. Excuse me. Capricorn, what is juicy for you? Let me pull. Judgment, Three of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. Wow, Capricorn, what a reading. So if you wanted to reunite with someone, it's happening for sure. You have the Judgment, which is telling you you're getting another chance, and here the Three of Cups is another chance at reuniting with a particular person, a group of friends, family members, co-workers. It could be 1, 2, 3, or more people. I don't even exclude just one person on this card. I think there's a lot of effervescence, there's a lot of joy, and there's a lot of laughter attached to this card. So it's a very, very happy moment for you. And the Wheel of Fortune is telling me that this is, you know, both cards of karma here, Judgment and the Wheel of Fortune. This was destined to happen. It's happening also in divine timing. It's happening faster than you think. It's coming in really, really quickly. And being the last card here, the Wheel being the last card, if it's not happening so fast, it's happening in divine timing here with the Judgment. But then when it does, your life just, you know, totally switches up and speeds up. It's almost like, yeah, you're being taken for a ride here. I'm saying a ride because I'm thinking of, you know, obviously those wheels in those amusement parks, right? You know, if you go on them, obviously they're not very fast, right? They're not meant to go fast, but what's really stunning is when you're up there, the view that you get. So there's something about the words being propulsé, propelled is the word. You're being propelled, but also you're being propelled upward. So forward and upward. It's a really, really strong reading. Capricorn. Was this Sag or Capricorn? I forget now. I think it was Capricorn. Oh goodness. That's what happens when you do all signs. I think that was Capricorn. If it wasn't, I'll do a bonus read just for the missing sign. But let's move to Aquarius. What is juicy for Aquarius? You'd think I'd remember, but I'm unable to remember which sign that was. The moon in reverse. Let's pull the rest. For Aquarius. Now I know it's Aquarius. Judgment. And this one is the Six of Wands, but it's in reverse. So it's interesting. Both Aries and Taurus had cards of reveal, right? And then the full moon is usually a reveal, right? It's when you might hear something that you didn't know about. News, maybe that you were expecting, but still the news arrives. So the moon in reverse is another card of things that are being exposed. You have the Judgment here. There's a second go round, so it's or a situation repeating, or a situation that you wish wasn't over, isn't. So you're happy about it, and I think maybe that's what you hear about. The only sort of I guess staying here is the Six of Wands in reverse. It's almost like you're hearing about something that repeats but is not necessarily successful, or doesn't yield the results that you were hoping for. Maybe it's better said. Because it's not necessarily a failure. That's what I want to emphasize. It's probably, you know, not as successful, or not as pleasant even, or I think you had a lot of hopes here on the Judgment for something to renew, to get a second wind, like to pick up. You're getting an inkling of that here with the moon in reverse. As if you're getting a peek at something, and yet it's almost like it's not what you expected. But then that's very moon-like. I mean, even if the card is in reverse, it's still the moon, right? So the moon has all of these shades of gray, right? So there's a lot of nuances, and there's a lot of things are not always what they seem. And it's not necessarily to say they're deceitful or upright lies. They're simply they have a different light. And so sometimes under another kind of light, they look different. So it's really not, again, I want to emphasize it's not, the Six of Wands, it doesn't mean failure, it just simply means maybe not up to your expectations, right? Let's do Pisces. And I promise if I did screw up and if I jumped to Capricorn and if I skipped Sag, or the opposite if it was a Sag reading, I don't remember which one of the two, right? There's definitely one I might have skipped or not at all. I'll redo it. But let's focus on Pisces right now. Let me regroup. So what is juicy for Pisces on this beautiful strawberry full moon? Let's pull. Two of Cups in reverse, the World in reverse, and the Three of Wands in reverse. Well, 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 Pisces. So you've had a disconnect with someone in particular, most likely a love connection or romantic connection, but it could also be a partnership, even in business, but a very close-knit partnership, right? One where if it was business ties, you'd have a lot of, you know, you'd be friends with this person, or it could be a family member even, you know what I mean? Like when sometimes the lines blur a little bit. There's some of that in here. But you're feeling disconnected, and it's leaving you with a sense of unfinished business. You're feeling empty because it's not solved. There's no closure. There's no reconciliation at the moment. I'm saying this because the Three of Wands is in reverse, right? So if you're waiting for that excuse or for that apology to come in, it's not coming in. I feel there could be a lot of, you could be waiting a long time for it to come. If not ever, or never. But let's not say that actually. Just because I don't wish it on you, of course not. I am sensing it could also be from you, right? You could be the one. The Three of Wands in reverse and even the World in reverse here feels like a little bit like abandoning ship, abandoning the idea, almost abandoning the relationship, and by extension the person. But I wouldn't say it's out of treachery. It just feels I am hearing useless. I'm hearing there's no future with the Three of Wands in reverse, and there's no future here with these cards. You know, there's no attainment. The World is in reverse. So it feels like there's no future. Maybe that's why there's a disconnect, right? This is a difficult one, Pisces. You're so emotional, and, you know, especially for Pisceans, this is the kind of situation that leaves them really, really sad. First off, they hate to have disconnects in any type of relationship, and they don't like it when things are not resolved, you know, no matter what the outcome is, you know. I mean, this could apply to all signs, right? It doesn't have to be just Pisces, but maybe a little bit more so for Pisces. It's more difficult in terms of, you know, you're so sensitive to these kind of things. Yes, I'm hoping it'll resolve. I've been making the choice not to pull a fourth card. It's a choice for the reading. We'll explore that in other readings. We'll see what happens for the rest of the month. But at the moment, it feels like like things might not work out, or said differently, at the moment you haven't reconciled, or you haven't talked about it, or you haven't gotten closure, whatever the outcome, whatever it is, right? So I'll do a little mini collective, why not, while I'm here. On a general note, please show me collective energy. What is juicy for the collective, please? What can the collective expect? And we have the Nine of Wands, the Four of Pentacles in reverse, excuse me. And I'm going to pull the last one. And the Tower. Collective, what's going on? Okay. I was about to say before the Tower came out, collective, everybody feels, or the general energy is one of keeping to yourself, kind of guarded, but not necessarily on an emotional level. I sense more, people are very protective, maybe of their belongings, protective of their energy, definitely, protective of their ideas as well, and protective of their just energy in general, like the kind of input they could have, right? It's really interesting. It's almost like how do you say, foreboding, like when you almost, you can almost feel what's coming, right? There's a Tower moment coming. And I think maybe that's the protectiveness, this guarded energy I'm sensing here, you know. It's really interesting. It's an energy of almost bracing yourself before something happens. Something that would be sudden, but I don't feel is so unexpected. I feel, like I said, I feel like maybe collective, you're sort of sensing something is about to change. I mean, we are seeing things like inflation, right? We're seeing things as, well, I'm not going to describe all of the different things happening throughout the world, but globally there's economically speaking, it's not necessarily the easiest situation, and it might be worse one day. Knock on wood. It might get worse before it gets better. It feels like people are protecting their assets, literally. And I mean, even their assets almost all the way to their homes, the physical building of their homes, right? Putting padlocks, putting wood panels if you're bracing for a hurricane, putting money in a safe instead of at the bank, buying Bitcoin instead of, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like on a very large scale of how you can actually brace yourself for the worst. Or for what you think is the worst, right? What could affect you that feels worse to you, right? For example, losing your home, or losing your job, losing maybe your money, etc., etc. So not a very obvious energy for the collective, but I don't know, it feels quite a collective energy in general, so it makes sense to me. So on that note, I will end the reading here. Thank you for spending so much time with me. I appreciate that. I will timestamp to make it easier on every one of you to find your sign and hear only the portion that interests you. You can obviously tune in for your sun, moon, rising. You can tune in for any other placements like your midheaven, anything strong that you might have in your chart that you wish to look at closely in terms of your placements. So if you like the video, that would mean a lot to me. It helps the channel. You can also share and do subscribe if you haven't. Thank you.